Why, hello, hello. Welcome to the 11 a.m. Monday morning marketing webcast. I'm your host, Chris Bernard. I hope you're doing just fine. I'm checking my audio levels to see. You are watching me from a brand new webcam, so hopefully that turns out okay. Testing it. I tested this morning with these, we have great video shoots, right? So I have these very expensive devices here for audio, and of course, they're not working with this. So the audio, in my opinion, is a little less than adequate. So we'll figure out how to do that better in the future, although we still have the studio lighting and everything like that. Plus the camera is now mounted on my computer laptop screen, which is on a standing desk. So as I type away, looks like I've had way too much caffeine, doesn't it? So, and then also the boom mic that I have, the actual Yeti podcasting mic that I typically use, which is over here, you can't see it, is currently being used by our small group at church. So I wanted to make sure that we can at least be doing that. So they're borrowing the other webcam and this. So that's why we have this. So I'm testing this camera out to see how well it does. Thus far, I think the video is coming in pretty decent. The audio, again, it's coming in good, but it's not coming at the same quality that I would typically like. So we'll try to get that resolved in the future. So today's topic, in case you hadn't caught it, was the must-knows before starting a business. And there's two things going on, right? There's the pandemic, right? Last year, a lot of us were working from home in terms of our offices, et cetera. So that's one thing. The other thing is, especially if you're talented and always thinking that, coming up with ideas and solutions to problems, you say, you know what, I could really do this, or I really could get into starting my own business up. So I've got a lot of questions like that from my friends, because they're all kind of in a lot of them are in those situations, right? Where they're working from home, even given that option of coming back. But I could probably have this idea for a while. So we're going to walk through kind of the basics. I did a couple searches. I found some decent perspectives in terms of starting businesses. Some of these checklists are amazingly huge. Some of them are much shorter. Couple things that I'm noticing right out of the gate is, first of all, let's talk about passion. A lot of these are tasks-oriented stuff. Look, you gotta love what you're doing. You gotta be excited whenever that thing gets accomplished, whether that's baking cakes or making shoes or creating a lighting product or manufacturing a heavy haul trailer, whether it's helping somebody get over their mental impasses from a clinical standpoint, whether it's helping them with, urological issues. You have to be passionate about that thing, whatever that is. Now, here's the deal. Running a business is actually running a business, right? The old aspect of where you see you'll have more time and more flexibility and it'll be great because no one's telling you what to do. And okay, so yes, there are components of that are true, right? But the big challenge with that is that's not what that's only one small portion of the actual business, right? I mean, the fact is, as a small business owner, you're going to be working longer hours for less money. Yes, you may have some more flexibility, but you're also trading that off for longer time. So you will be doing things on the weekend and the evenings, unlike your current job where basically you log off and you're done for that. You may get an email or text here's and there's, but that's not the case when you run your own business. So, you're doing the thing that you apparently love during the day, but then there's all these other tasks and rituals that you have to either fit into that day part or they get carried over into the nights and the weekends. Now, do you have that flexibility of going to taking your kids to martial arts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Yes, you absolutely can do that now. But keep in mind that hour plus is going to be made up somewhere else in your schedule. I know that sounds simplistic, but it is absolutely true. And a lot of us that have worked in big companies for a long period of time, we don't have, in many cases, we haven't been given that discipline, right? So there's simple things that you can do, like closing doors, having a special place or an office that you can go to make sure that that discipline is there for that. The other thing too, and you'll see that I'm kind of relaxed today. I'm wearing my jeans, got my belt, got my nice comfortable shoes on. You can't see that, I can't lift my leg that high. Okay, my Johnson & Murphy shoes. I have my sport jacket over there, but I'm not gonna put it on right now because it's Monday morning. So, but there are things that you're gonna have to do that just to keep you in the discipline, right? And a lot of us have struggled through some of those things with COVID because we haven't had those disciplines baked into our reality. And so we've actually kind of crafted some of those now, which is good. So with that being said, we're now ready to engage in some of the checklist stuff that I have going on here. So again, I apologize. My screen will be bouncing around a little bit while we go through this stuff, but that's okay. It'll provide a good guide. So one of the best articles I was able to find was this one right here from Small Business Trends. Look, I'm in marketing. So if you start giving me a list of like 50 things to do, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. All right. So, so this is written, by the way, in a very practical sense as a checklist for somebody who's just starting their business off. And I do like how they kind of started it off here. Hey, congratulations. It's time now to launch your business. We're going to put this in manageable chunks for you. I love how they started that off, which is great. You might get overwhelmed with the sheer number of things on the to-do list, but don't worry, broken it down, startup. So this is an article, let's see, by Anita Campbell, which is pretty decent, 2018. So this was pre-pandemic, okay? But I enjoy some of the things that she's kind of laid out here. Determine your viability, right? So let me go ahead and close that part out. This is actually huge. She brings up this concept of being brutally honest. Your startup needs to be something that you can make a profit doing or delivering. Ask yourself, would you buy it? Run the numbers, your customers pay enough so that you can cover your costs and profit. Now, this is real simple. She's got another link in here, other questions to ask. It is important. We often hear from clients, like, this is something very unique and different. And then you go do your search online and you're like, dude, like this product, not only there's a product for it, but it's like $6. There's no way you're going to be able to make money off of this. And that's part of what we do, like a market plan, right? So, and this depends too, in terms of if your business is selling to a local marketplace or if it's online. Those two beasts are very different. Yes, one can leverage the other. The other one is a little hard. So if you're a physical presence location, selling to customers locally, can you go online? Absolutely, and sell your stuff most of the time. Yes, you can in some way, shape, or form. Even for things like physicians and stuff like that, especially after last year's adjustments to like telehealth and all that stuff. So you have to be brutally honest about whether or not this is going to make sense, which may be another good reason why you would actually look at, hiring a consultant or outside help, because they're going to be honest with you. Okay. And we have a process for that kind of stuff to determine viability. Another thing to think about here, the viability, we use Keyword Insight again for a lot of this stuff. So if it's an online tool, or even if you're thinking about physical locations, you could actually, instead of doing like a focus group, which will cost $15,000, $20,000 to do, you can do a simple Keyword Insight test for $1,000 and go, why would I do that if I can get Google traffic information free with the estimates? Well, the estimates are designed only to make Google money. They're not really designed for your product, your service, your marketplace, your competitors, those competitors' brands, all of that stuff. So what we end up doing with Keyword Insight was we built out this massive list of keywords. I'm talking every possible product or service related keyword as it relates to your business. And then we launch them in the areas that you're either currently servicing or thinking about servicing, right? In order to, when somebody does a search for it, it shows up and it's counted as an impression in AdWords, so the little ads that are going on. And then basically we have a little nice list at the end of a week or so, a week plus 2 weeks or whatever it is, that tells us all the times that keyword, phrase match, was found in a search query in your local marketplace. We go, yep, we're going to go after this one. Yes, this one. No, this one. No. Yes, we can compete in that one. No, yes. We get that nice little list of keywords. Now you can do that for a couple different reasons. First of all, let's say you do related product or service, or you want to know characteristics of that product or service. You can very quickly and easily diagnose which products or service, variables, types, all of that, have the greatest potential in your marketplace, like a focus group, right? So that's one really exceptional tool to know about. The other one is if you're actually like your current business and you want to, let's say, open up or thinking about a product division or something of that nature that may or may not exist yet. You need to figure out what that viability is, what that potential is. So if I do, pencils, in a certain marketplace, does it make sense for me to do pens in a certain place, right? Can I leverage that brand potentially to be able to sell that? And search Keyword Insight can actually help you do that. So very important there. Business plans. I've seen and actually been a part of creating very extensive business plans. In many cases, this is where a lot of people end up getting caught up because this requires a level of, if they try and do this independently, there's two things that'll happen. One is it becomes so labor intensive, they've worked with other people and it becomes labor intensive and it's costly and they kind of give up over time. The other one is these online tools, and I've used them myself, by the way. They're so templated and it can help you flush out maybe big swaths of your business. When it comes to actually getting stuff done, I've had very little success with those tools. In fact, in many cases, you end up repeating the same things over and over again, right? So, your call on that. I think, if you do kind of this brutal numbers math stuff up here, you're able to find out, let's say, who and what and how to approach the market. And you go, yep, I can do that. Business plan with a couple of great, we have an executive interview. I can send you that form. It would help you 10 times more than filling out a business plan. Because it helps you answer those questions you need to know and think about, okay? Figure out the money. Yes. Most startups take a lot of time to get off the ground than you expect. Look, we all have high hopes. Our products and services are awesome. We love them. We love doing them. We think everyone in the world should have them. And then we find out really that it's harder than we think. Know where your living expenses are year for year. This one here is not as important as much, especially, again, 90% of the questions I've gotten have been people that are currently employed at other companies. They're like, you know what, I can do this other stuff. Like, I can do this well. Let me figure out how to do it. So you have to figure out if that money works. Just be realistic with yourself, you guys. Get family behind you. Spend time, make sure your spouse and a close family member is buying into the startup. If you have enough challenges without resistance from family. You know what? If your family's not behind you in it, you guys have to kind of decide to do this as a family because if you're married and you have kids, you're going to be able to attend some of those games now that you couldn't before, but then you're also going to have other games where you can't attend potentially, or you have to, once they go to bed, put in the extra work. Your call. I hate to tell you. So, there's only 24 hours in a day. We all are God-given 24 hours in a day, and we all have the ability to kind of faction it off how we want to, and the responsibility to do so. None of us have more than 24 hours in a day. You can't outsource certain things of your business, which is something that I would strongly recommend that you consider doing. I think down here it talks about partners. Look, the thing that you love doing, do it. The things that you don't like doing, find somebody that loves doing those things. If you're not good at IT, don't do IT. You're not good at building a website, please don't build a website. You may think you can do it and you may be able to do it, but the fact is it's going to take you, unless there's a purpose for it, many more times over long to get done versus just getting it done, contracting to have it finished, even if it's an MVP, what we call minimum viable product to be able to launch, whether that's a website or a market plan or social media program or whatever, get it done. But hire people that know how to do this stuff. I think I shared this with you once before, trying to do window tint, right, in my car. I tried to do it twice before I finally I'm stubborn, right? Before I finally got the idea that, the YouTube videos that make this look so easy, even with the instructions. So I ended up spending, probably $120 in product over 2 times, and then I could have just gotten the whole car done for like $100, right? So what was the point? Shoe shines are the same way. I can shine my own shoes, but it's so much better if you just, like, I don't know what they've got the equipment for it. I don't know if they use better polish. I don't know, but I think I buy the most expensive polish. My shoes still look better when I actually get them to shine at the airport. Don't know why. It's just a thing. Choose a business name. Look, this is important. Your business name should say what we do. We have a discussion going on with a client, and there's this balance, right? You need to capture a brand name, a business name should capture the essence of what the company does. That's really all it needs to do. Small thing to do. So it needs to capture the essence of what the company does. If you name it something that is not appropriate, and our agency is definitely one of them. I have a story behind it that allows you to connect. But Doc 29 Marketing Consultants, we do marketing consultants. I guess you understand that. But Doc 29 means nothing to people. I just thought it was a cool name when I bought it because I had to ship a CD to Bob Beckenbaugh Caterpillar. It was kind of cool. I enjoyed that name and I bought it. So, but either way, choose a name that reflects. That was like 14 years ago, by the way. So we've learned some things since then. But choose a business name that captures the essence of what you guys do, but also allows for that elastic mode. So if you start doing other business, we are talking to a company they do like soaps, right? So, but they also do like dolls clothing, and they also do like indoor decor elements and things like that. So, yes, this is a core part of their business, but at the same time, they can scale up and make that product and service a little bit. That's one of the reasons why, having a business plan, I know we talk about a business plan up here, but even our executive interview, the questionnaire we use for that client profile, really, it asks one of those questions: where does your business want to be in 5 years? Well, that question allows you to help facilitate a business name. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Do Google searches, use a corporate name search tool to see it, right? So actually, that's a good idea. Make sure no one else has gotten that name before. Register a domain name. So this is an AOL email address. Okay, yeah. So don't ever do that. Yeah, and that makes sense. They're running a business off of the @AOL, or I'm not sure if AOL is still even around at this point. So you can use Google domains. You can buy just Google or GoDaddy. If you don't like Google, we're just testing the Google domains and the Google website, sites.google.com. It's okay. Again, it'll allow you to go ahead and build a simple looking website and things like that. But again, if you want to go ahead and do this properly, and branding and marketing is not your thing, you do something else, outsource that. It doesn't have to be expensive. The one thing I would suggest is kind of what it talks about with those numbers up there. Do have pieces of this, like marketing. When you do a website and you want to do a logo design, a brand design, right? Have a budget in mind so that when you're talking to somebody, you can say, look, my budget is this. What can I do on that? Okay. And a good consultant is going to be able to direct you on that. Okay. But yeah, register a domain name. So, again, you can use a whole bunch of different places to do that. The domain name itself is just the www.whatever.com thing that it is. I would suggest that, again, it comes off of the business name. It's easy to remember. It kind of captures what your company does, those kind of things. Incorporate, figure out the legal structure. If you, like for Florida, you can do Sunbiz. So I think it's sunbiz.org or whatever it is. I'm not sure what it is for your state. But, basically, it's pretty straightforward. You can buy a simple business book. There are plenty of websites out there. In fact, incorporating your startup, you can actually probably hit this link as well. I didn't actually visit this link. I love the static. Okay, so even like this, this is going to be basic information, right? S Corp, an LLC. A lot of businesses are LLC, limited liability corporation. There's reasons why you may choose to do that. Other ones not. C corporation. There's a couple of different kind of guidelines, right? So flexibility, how you file, how intense or difficult your taxes are going to be, employee count, all that stuff can have an impact into which one of those you choose. Applying for an EIN number, an employer identification number. Again, very easy. Somebiz.org can do that, or whatever the case may be for you. You've got your numbers. It help, and this is a good tip here too. You'll need this in order to set up your own bank account. I have a corporate card, right, so that I can keep everything associated with that separate. So when taxes come around, it's very easy for me to go ahead and crunch that stuff because I can download the information. It categorizes and buckets it. Again, unless you like spending a lot of time doing admin stuff, which is probably not the reason why you're going into business for yourself, this will be helpful. Plus, from an auditing standpoint, if you were ever to get audited, it becomes very easy. I have one card for this and one card for this, and everything that goes on this, unless you're a politician, of course, where you can cross the two over and it doesn't really matter. But this card here is what I always use for business, and this card here is what I always use for personal, right? So good stuff. That is something pretty important. Good tip too. Investigate and apply for business licenses. Again, depending on what your industry is, again, this is a good tool. I'll probably just link this in the show notes because it's a pretty decent article. Has a lot of really great links into it. Definitely want to make sure that you're getting the licenses that you need for your industry. But this makes it sound like also these are required. It sounds like kind of like license or state or local level. So these are business license to do your job, depending if you're an AC installer or whatever the case may be. For information, again, you're going to find that you can do a search for NAICS codes. In fact, I'm not sure if it forces you to do that or not. But basically, it's the industry that you're targeting. And you're going to be able to, it depends on what you're trying to do, whether or not how heavy or burdensome your licenses are. Now, these are required, at least according to this anyway. But even beyond that, when you go back up to those expenses again, up here, figure out the money. There might be licenses that you want that you're going to have in order to run your business. Okay. So in addition to, just your EIN number and your filings there, maybe having an attorney on retainer, maybe having business insurance, maybe having financial help, right? Be able to kind of have somebody crunch the numbers for you, accounts payable, accounts receivable, all that fun stuff. You may need 2, 3, 4 different, let's say, software licenses or systems licenses or something of that nature in order to actually run your business. Know what those costs are, okay? Set up a website. No, hire somebody to set up a website. Not kidding. You can do it yourself, you guys. I know you can, but if you spend 10 hours doing that, I would, I've personally built hundreds of websites, okay? Guys, to figure out the idiosyncrasies of even simple ones like Google domain, Google sites.google.com or WordPress, very simple. But the fact is, it'll take you 10 times as long to do it. I'd much rather have you spend the 10 hours doing your job and spend, $1,500 doing a decent foundational website, right? That'll allow you to grow and that you can maintain and everything like that. It's done, ready to go. We'll train you on it. It's just simple stuff like that. Register social media profiles. Again, if you're, how do I say this nicely? If you don't love this, don't do this. You can. I think of, I can think of a animal, like daycare, right? These people love the pets, love animals. They love doing this. So that's okay. But if this is a portion of your business that you don't like doing, social media, setting up the profiles and setting up and actually maintaining them and responding, maybe you have somebody else completely set it up and you're okay with the alerts and notifications and are able to respond. That's cool. If not, hire it. Seriously. But yeah, and they'll, if you think about how, again, you probably didn't go into your business knowing that you know how to do graphic design and create a logo, who your target market is, all that fun stuff. But if you got the logo and the brand, you've got the website graphics, it's much easier to set up the social media profile. So you're kind of catching my flow here, is that literally this is just a consistent branding message, and it's easy to set up. Maybe you contract with somebody that can do the brand, the website, and the social media profiles all at one shot, so that it's consistent and it's not something you have to screw with. And then you can go ahead and start doing the marketing stuff of it. That's cool. Okay. Start your revenue stream. Start generating revenue as soon as possible. We call that minimum viable product, and that might be a service as well, right? At the early stage of startup, there's never enough money. Resist the temptation to wait until things are perfect. This one makes everyone fail. Like literally. Get your lawyer and customer contract forms. Look, you have to sell stuff. In fact, I probably will massacre this story, but Sam Adams, the beer company, right? The young Tot graduates from Harvard. I believe it's Harvard Business School, right? And I think his uncle was a lawyer, an attorney, very wealthy guy. And the attorney, his uncle, guy graduates business school, starts, Sam Adams up, and it's in Boston. I think that's correct. It's in Boston, which makes sense, right? Maybe I've just mixed that up, but starts in Boston, just out of school, creates the business plan, all this great stuff, starts hiring, finds the computers, the office location, all this stuff. And the attorney, the uncle who loaned the young man, the young graduate, the money to start up this company and create the beer, which they're actually able to brew. They bought the equipment, all of that stuff. Several months in, the uncle comes to him and goes, "How much beer have you sold?" The guy says, "Well, I'm doing this, and this." He says, "That doesn't matter. How much beer have you sold?" He says, "What you're going to do is you're going to get your butt back out. You're going to get your butt out of this office, and you're going to go ahead and go sell beer." And you know what happened? He sold beer. Amazing. Cool, right? So go ahead and keep your eye on that prize, which is to start making money. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. Get started, get moving, all right? Rent the retail space and office. Virtually, we may not have to do this anymore, guys. I can do this pretty much anywhere. You can do a significant portion out of all the people that I've talked to, with the exception of with the exception of, I think all of them. I can't think of one that couldn't do this virtually, that needed a retail space, okay? In fact, in many cases, it's probably a lot easier to just start something virtually than it ever has been, right? That soap company, right? Starting virtually, and I don't need a physical retail space for that. You're going to be up against some pretty heavy competitors, but we have to be strategic in that. Order business cards. Again, because you did the brand, because you have the website, because you have the social media profiles, business cards are a piece of cake. Some cases, I still recommend you have them. In fact, it says in here, without cards, you lack credibility. Look, it's not hard and expensive to do that. Make it part of the, let's say, small business, proposal estimate that you get from your consultant or whomever, okay? Open a business banking account, yes. Keep it separate, baby, just like the credit cards. Set up an accounting system, yeah. So there's a couple of things that you can do with this. When I first started the business, I had Excel going on, which if you do like reoccurring billing, is kind of a pain. So there's other tools out there, guys, that allow you to do reoccurring invoices. We use FreshBooks at our agency, and they've been pretty good with that. I think up to 50 clients. It's up to 50 clients. It's free. I don't know if it still is or not. But great way of, keeping, they can pay right actually through it too. I'm not sure if that was an upgrade or not, but they can pay through it through Stripe, or they have a whole bunch of different ones now in there, but it allows for auto invoicing. So if you're dealing with regular invoicing, your phone can work with it. And it's cheap. There's other ones out there, but that works pretty good for us. But yeah, definitely have an accounting system of some kind, and keep track of expenses too, right in through FreshBooks, which is kind of neat. Assign responsibilities to co-founders. If you have one or more founders, it's imperative that you decide who will do what up front. Put it in writing. Co-founder disagreements can destroy your business. I've been really blessed. We have a couple of partners that we work with, and I'll get into partners here in just a minute. I disagree with the article here on the partner stuff, but the co-founders, I think any relationship you guys have a contract, right? Just even if it's an understanding of what's going to happen, it just makes sense. That way there's no hard feelings, everybody's accountable. The person is obviously aware that, if they haven't been doing their job, then the person's obviously aware that they have, like you can have something to talk about, right? Upgrade your smartphone and choose, look, you're going to be on the go a lot, and I would caution you not to be able, if you have a laptop and a cell phone, you can run a business. I hate to tell you, that's real simple. I don't know if you need a credit card swipe device. It can be helpful as well. But, even like Stripe or anything like that, you can accept virtual payments. Okay. But don't get too picky. If you find that you're spending a lot of time doing something that you need to be able to do remotely, then go research it. But again, I think we could research everything to the hilt in this and not get going. And I think that's probably bigger caution than the other one, where it's like, man, I'm spending weeks upon weeks of a year doing this specific thing, which wastes a huge amount of time. I need to figure out a way to fix that. Friends can be helpful, consultant can be helpful. Somebody else in the exact business, in a different marketplace, maybe, like a trade group might be able to help you. Find free advice. In fact, there you go. It's going to sound really awful, but the SBA and the SCORE group, I've been to both of them. Mixed reviews on that. We'll leave it at that. Advice, everyone has an opinion. It's just important to go through people that have done it before, and a lot of these people are retired executives. Actually, I will tell you that the SCORE groups, the three guys that I've worked with there, all really outstanding individuals, but also work with some very large companies, and they have one big perspective of those companies. But as a small business, we run on different. There's different metrics that we're using. A P&L of moving, $500,000 from one line to another is very different than going, okay, I've got 10 employees and I need to figure out how to, am I going to sponsor the baseball team this year? Like, those are all like, those are situations that in many cases they haven't dealt with. I hate to tell you. Consult your insurance agent. Depending on the type of business you're starting, you may need insurance of one kind or another, like liability comp, health insurance. Again, if you start hiring employees, that's where this gets a lot more complicated. Do seek help in that. My suggestion here, guys, is I don't know how many of you are faith believing, but my suggestion would be to, find people. It doesn't mean that the people that are in your church or faith-based body community are good, but if you have, let's just say if you have like-mindedness, in many cases, you're going to find that, although you're going to be going the right way, it's going to tell you that. Okay, it's harder to work with people that have a different worldview than you do. Hire your first employee. Depend on your type of business. I'm going to say this is really interesting. Hire your first employee. Go back and see the money thing again, because this is very expensive. Very, very expensive. So when I first started Doc 29, I came out of, I was working with the second largest agency in Tampa, which was great. The problem with that is that they were still pretty small and they only had like one big client. They had a lot of other clients in between that, but at the end of the day, great company. But if that one large client started to get nervous, the graphic designers, there were 5 of them, like they would start getting nervous. There's a reason why they would start getting nervous, because they expected a paycheck, right? That's how they were hired. Well, the problem with it is the business owner's like, I'm not necessarily sure I'm going to have that business. And if it's family, then, a lot of these smaller companies, right? We know their families, like we hang out, like it is what it is. So it becomes an emotional decision as well. And we want to try to avoid that. So I'm going to strongly suggest that you grow your business using the gig mindset of when the business is there, book it, get it done, and then get on to the next engagement. Okay? Line up suppliers and providers. Yes, make sure you've done your due diligence. Have multiple options, by the way, of contract workers, right? But make sure it's reliable, it's done well. File for trademarks and patents. Yes, you need to protect your stuff. It's worth it. I know it's expensive, but if you have a unique product, you gotta protect it. What do you want to know? Attorneys do expect to be paid, by the way. Work your network. Look, if you love your product, this is going to come through no matter what. You're going to say, I spot opportunities everywhere. Okay, so go for it. Be excited. Be enthusiastic. Look for opportunities to help local businesses out. In fact, you can even use those ones that you currently work with to say, look, I've got this. We've been working together for a long period of time. I take my dry cleaning here, whatever it is. I'd love to know if I can help you somehow promote my business a little bit. We do a great job. Maybe you can give a trial for that for them. But I'd love to see if we can kind of help small business, rock the house a little bit more. All right, take a little bit of business from Amazon, etc. We're all on board with that. Don't waste time on partnerships. I disagree with this. I think, again, as long as your understanding is clearly defined. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Be careful about wasting time on business partnership discussions. Your business won't be attracted to potential partners unless you start making money, start making headway. Focus your precious time to make sales. Well, there's some truth to that, but partnerships can be a way to leverage other people that are smarter than you in your business. So again, just be clear on the expectations again. That might be a simple email. Here's what's going to go on. Refine your pitch. A good 30-second teaser pitch is helpful. In fact, because of our short timelines today or short mental capacities, make it 10 seconds, 8 seconds maybe. You need a good elevator pitch. You have to understand clearly what makes you truly unique and special. And then you need to go, here's a good test, right? For an elevator pitch, I heard this one, I think it's good. After you deliver it, let's say it's that, they call it an elevator pitch because you can do it in that ride from one floor to another, right? They need to go, the response to your pitch should be, I need to know more. That's it. That should be the response. I need to know more. Okay. So if it meets that threshold, great, you won. If it doesn't, then you've lost. Redefine your product and marketing and sales approach. As long as you go along, you'll learn about your marketplace. Look, this is a terrible way. I have to, let me be wrong. Let me be real honest with you. This is a terrible way. This is a very costly way to know about your marketplace. As you go along, you will learn more about the marketplace. Look, use customer feedback to refine your product and service offerings. Yes, absolutely. Make sure you're doing that. But if you started off with keyword insight, a good understanding of who you're targeting and what her hurdles are, you can get I don't know if you can get an IBIS. We use IBIS research for a lot of stuff to help figure out what's going on in the brains of our target market, our customers. All right. You can get a pretty decent picture of that, marketing profile, right? What that customer looks like, what their needs are, what she, what are her apprehensions, how big the marketplace is, all that fun stuff you can actually do by doing testing, what we call a market plan. If you need help with that, we can give you some guidance on that. But that's a much better way of then, real simple, right? You need to look at three things, the three-legged stool. Now let's switch over here. Okay, so a three-legged stool. A stool has three legs. If you look down from the top, right? This is underneath the chair, right? The first one are the executive interviews. This is the top brass of the company and what they like, what they don't like, with their products and services, how they'll come out. Those are, their competitors, where the industries are going, what keeps them up at night. What other questions? What's worked before in the past? What's not worked before? All those are an executive interview called a client profile. That's one leg of the stool. The other is going to be the consumer insight, right? Who we're trying to target, what she cares about. Keyword insight's part of this, by the way, because they've done the Google search for it. Now we know kind of what searches they're into, so we can kind of get an understanding of what's going on in their brains. Again, buying patterns, what their options are, how they look at the business, there's trends, all that fun stuff in terms of the customer's brain. That might be a B2B or B2C. B2B is business to business, B2C is business to consumer, right? The third leg of the stool is the competition, okay? So you need to be once you understand what makes you tick and different, the directions and the agency, get that profile going on, you also need to position yourself against your competition. And how we do this is just simply create a very big Excel spreadsheet with our competitors on the left-hand column A, competitor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our company as well. And then across the top, the most important things. And then we kind of go through that, fill that out, and then we highlight the areas that are interesting, right? And then with that, you can really clearly see kind of what your positioning should be, which is really kind of neat to be able to see that kind of unfold. So instead of guessing, which keywords and what they look, this is a slow process here, you guys. So I would strongly recommend doing somewhat of a mini market plan, not a business plan, a market plan. And then with that market plan, you're going to be able to start seeing you're going to be building out the strategy as well. So I think that's really, really important. Secure your IT team. If you're not running a tech company, your sensitive data, yes, this is true. This is true. People, just a quick note here. Yes, just real simple. Yes, make sure you protect your customers' data. And some people say, well, the company is going to be doing the website's going to be in WordPress. You're like, you can secure WordPress better than you can pretty much any other site. I'm telling you, you have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of programmers writing to WordPress every day, and you have like 10, Microsoft Platinum software developers. You know what? You're going to be able to plug holes a lot faster with thousands and thousands of people actually looking at code and filling those gaps in quick. Plus, if you use like a hosting company like GoDaddy to do this stuff, if you're on a shared hosting environment, they build special for WordPress. If there's a problem that's found in WordPress core, it gets rolled out and fixed. It gets rolled out to other websites. That's cool stuff. Okay. In fact, the finance, the CFO of, I believe it was Home Depot with regard to credit cards, fraud and all that stuff. He's like, it's not a matter of when, if credit card fraud is going to happen, it's when it is. The trick is to find it fast and fix it. Well, in this case here, that's kind of the idea, right? You can find it and fix it fast, and it's scaled out to a large group. It's fixed, which is a beautiful thing. Get a salesperson or a sales team in place. Again, many started business owners start out as the chief salesperson. They try to grow. They need dedicated sales functions so you can focus on activities rather than day-to-day activities. This is a huge opportunity. Finding the right salesperson is difficult. I will admit I am not a salesperson. It doesn't mean that I love our product. I love seeing stuff kind of come through, but I'm much more of a tactical guy. Like I enjoy seeing numbers come through, phone calls made, clients happy when I do the reporting. That's my thing, right? I also like organizing schedules and times, right, for people to get that work done, because that's the part that gets me excited, right? But salespeople are a different breed. They're charismatic. You have to incentivize them properly, right? Otherwise, they won't be doing paperwork. You can't be putting extra efforts in their way that don't allow them to make money, that are just bureaucratic, that allow you to track stuff. So if you need help implementing a CRM tool that allows you to do that, and then kind of combine that with marketing, because there's a lot that you can take off of the salesperson's back by using automation in terms of a CRM, drip email programs, notification systems. There's a whole bunch of things that you could do here. This is a big opportunity, but this is often kind of what it's leading to here is you've already started a growth trend. Now you're getting too busy, but you still want to grow that business, right? So you can go ahead and do something like this, okay? And then get a mentor. I truly believe that you should probably put this in like quotes, getting the right mentor. There's, again, a lot of people that tell you that you need to be doing X, Y, or Z things, but a good mentor is going to guide you. There's a quote here from E-Myth: "We need to be working on our business if we want them to grow and flourish. A mentor who has succeeded in your industry can provide you with priceless advice and serve as a sounding board." Look, this is not hard to get a hold of somebody in that. In many cases, you can reach out to a competitor that's huge. They don't think of you as a threat. I've done this. It actually is quite helpful. There's books upon books that can help you do this stuff as well. So really good stuff there. I'm sure there's some comments in here that might be helpful. Great things. Yeah, so hopefully that has helped out a little bit and dispelled some fiction from fact when it comes to starting the business, just from seeing a couple hundred clients come through, again, across different industries. And then again, with the rise, I saw the Google commercial with the, searching for how to, start a job, how to start a business, there's a lot of questions out there. So hopefully this will help at least one or two of you start your business off strong. I would encourage you. I think it's a wonderful thing. It is the time to do it. And I wish you the total best of luck, knowing that if you do this well, this could be your full-time thing. You can get away from doing that job that, you basically work for somebody else. You might be even happy doing it, but something that you will love doing. So I want to encourage you there. Hope you have a blessed week, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.